that SCOBY.
I'm gonna start hitting recording. We're having such an interesting conversation here.
Well, if you buy your vinegar right, it has a mother in it.
Yeah, that's the SCOBY.
That's the SCOBY. Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of. SCOBY gets real gelatinous though, and is layered, and it's it looks really different. In fact, I might have a jar of it right here, but
I've got so much SCOBY in what I'm processing right now. Every jar that I make has its own little baby SCOBY inside of it. And so when I pour it out and mix it with something like juice, or if I drink it straight, I drink the SCOBY with it. Maureen won't do that. She's repulsed at the idea of drinking a SCOBY. Somebody's mother.
It seems like they should become daughters after a while, you know.
I've done that, Jay, where it comes out and I can see there's the SCOBY filaments or whatever. But anyway.
You just drink them?
What's that?
You just drink them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
So it's supposed to be really good for you?
Yeah, it's supposed to be. Probiotic.
Well, SCOBY was a dog, you know, Scobie Dobie Doo.
Did you hear Dennis?
Dennis, yes. What are you saying back there?
You have to talk louder, Dennis. He said he thought SCOBY was a dog.
Scooby-Doo.
Actually, I used to call it Scooby, but I've been corrected several times now.
Well,
so
mom used to make dough dogs, but they weren't Scooby-Doo dogs.
We used to call them dogogs instead of the D for dog. I would always say they were dogogs. I don't know why, but it seems like that's what I heard.
I heard dogs.
But there weren't any dogs. When I would eat one, I didn't ever see a dog.
Now they're just plain old scones.
And I don't eat them.
Around here, they call it fry bread, and it's the Indians make it.
Yeah.
Similar. It's a little bit different from fry bread, but it's pretty similar. I think it is if you do the original Indian fry bread.
Our daughter-in-law does that.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Annette, we're hearing you really well today. It seems like on some of our calls, we lose you and can't hear you very well, but we're hearing you really good, just for whatever reason. That's good.
Yeah, would you fix that, please?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and pull up some of these photos. I don't know. I know Terry said he was going to get on, and Kamillia said she wanted to get on.
Hey.
I wasn't sure about anybody else, but the two people that said they were going to get on aren't on. But I'm going to go ahead and go over to these photos, if that's okay with you guys.
Sure.
Oh, wait. I got to do screen share. Hang on. Share screen.
You guys done with your snow now, Nancy?
We sure hope so. But next week, it's supposed to get down to 37.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
The high be 40, what?
47.
47.
That's too cold for June.
Yeah, that's pretty chilly.
Kamillia is coming on. Okay. Well, we'll wait a second and make sure we have Kamillia all the way with us. What you're looking at, just FYI, are the photos I've added most recently. Can you see my screen, you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So as people, you know, share photos on our family text thread and as things happen, I try to keep this little photo album updated. So these are the photos that we've been adding. I added a few from Abigail's wedding.
More crazy people. No more stolen election.
Hello, Kamillia.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
Who's there with you?
The January 6th hearings.
Oh, they're in your house, huh?
Wow.
Yes. I'm pretty lucky. I was watching them, but I'm recording them, so they're off now.
Okay.
Anyway, so who is with us?
Well, there's me and Nancy and Annette and Jaye.
Jaye, Annette, you and Nancy.
Right.
Well, that's a nice group.
Yeah.
Kind of nice.
And Annette is here too.
Didn't I say Annette?
Yep.
Anyway, so we've been just chatting about random things for a few minutes, Kamillia, and I just barely went to this photo page.
They're really, really small. I don't know if my eyes are just getting worse.
Well, he hasn't enlarged any of the photos.
No, I haven't. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come over here to the word explore. And what I want to do is I'm actually going to filter by dad's name and then mom's name and Kamillia's name. And there's just a lot of little loose photos that we just need a little bit of pinpointing on. So if I filter it by dad's name, and I'm just going to start here in the upper left-hand corner. And I'll see if I can zoom in a little bit, Kamillia. Dad is second to the left. Oh, let's see. Where was that one button I found once to help me enlarge?
He's there.
Edit.
I wonder what that was. Do you have any kind of a date?
No, that's what we're here to. I'm not getting it to zoom in. Come on.
Yeah, I can with my finger. I can pull mine out and get a bigger picture with my fingers on the screen.
Yeah, so
too.
I can't get it for some reason. I'm not doing any better with that this time. But Dad is second to the left. I know nothing else. Whoops! I accidentally went to the next one. I don't know anything about who's there or where it's at.
I'll bet you this was when he was in the scouting program, and those might be fellow scout executives.
I'm thinking the same thing. I'm trying to look to see how young or old he was.
He's pretty young, 30 something, I'd say.
Yep.
Okay, then I think you're correct, Jaye.
So if he was in the scouting program, because I was, I don't think I was there at that time. What location would that be? Where would he be?
Yakima.
In Yakima?
Actually, no. When we were in Yakima, the reason we moved to Yakima was because Daddy went into selling insurance for beneficial life. So it might be Toppenish. I don't think it's before that. Now I could get it to expand. But in Anaconda, of course, he was in scouting.
Okay.
And he was in scouting in Butte and Weiser. But he doesn't look young enough to be Weiser. Maybe Anaconda or Toppenish.
Okay. Well, I'll just say Kamillia says maybe Anaconda. That's Montana, right?
Mm-hmm.
Montana. What was the other place you said?
Toppenish,
Washington.
We went through there on our trip up to see Jeff, and I decided I would never want to live in Toppenish. It was just not a pleasant place to be.
Well, you know, we were just little kids. We didn't know the difference.
Yeah, and I was even littler, and I didn't know the difference.
So this would have put him late 40s?
Let's see. Toppenish was late 40s. Anaconda would have been right after the war. Probably 46, 45, 46. By 47, we were in at Toppenish.
We'll just call it 1946. Just to give us the, I mean, we've already said maybe Anaconda, maybe Toppenish.
Mm-hmm. If it's 1946, we're talking about Anaconda.
Yeah, I'll just say Anaconda on here. Anaconda. Sounds like a snake. Anaconda.
It is a snake.
Oh.
It's also a copper smelting place too, or was.
Okay, well, I'm gonna.
So Jaye.
Yeah.
Toppenish is a lot different now. There's a lot of drugs and there's a lot of gangs and stuff that did not exist when we were little kids.
I kind of got that impression that it had probably gone through a real decline.
Yep.
So this photo, I already have it documented as Dad and Don Wallace, Chandler.
You're calling him Don Wallace?
Well, that's what it's on here as. What did you?
Okay. I've never heard him called Don Wallace, but he definitely is.
Isn't that his name?
Yeah, that's his name. His name is Don
Wallace. I just didn't know that it was Don also.
Yeah. And this Dad looks about the same size and the same time, and he's with Wallace. And would that be in Weiser, Kamillia?
I'm guessing because I don't remember Wallace ever visiting us in any of our locations. So I think this was in Weiser.
Yeah, and, I already pegged it as Weiser for some reason. I just didn't know. I put on here around 1940. Does that sound about right, or what do you guys think?
Daddy went into the service in 1944. He doesn't have very much hair in this. But let's see. When
it's the way it's pulled around and cut or something. It looks weird.
Yeah, it has receded though.
I would say before the war or just after.
So Uncle Wallace had pretty curly hair too?
Yes, he did. He had very pretty wavy hair.
That looks a lot like Jeff's hair.
Does it?
Yeah, it does. It does.
I'm thinking of my grandkids. We've got some real curls.
Huh.
Okay, so how about if I say 1943?
That's probably okay.
Is that close enough?
Well, I think it's the best we can do.
Right. Yeah, I agree. We just don't know for sure. That gives us the general era timeline of when it was.
You know, I don't know. Tell me, do things record even if you turn them off? You know that?
Typically, things don't record if you turn them off. I'm not sure what.
No, I turned off the January 6th meeting so that I could talk with you, but I hit record. So it will record even though the TV's off, right?
It probably should.
I don't know.
It should. Okay. Well, cross my fingers. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. So
ask Daddy and Barbara.
Right. So then again, the question is, okay, when and where is this likely to be?
Barbara is so young. And Daddy looks almost groovy or something with his shirt undone.
Yeah, he's got a tough guy stance going on there, and his shirt's unbuttoned. He looks like he's just come out of a logging camp.
Tiny waist.
Is this a CC camp return home picture?
Yeah,
no.
That's what it looks like.
Yes, but Daddy was a teenager when that happened.
I was gonna say, I think he's too old for this in this photo for that.
Yeah.
He was married, wasn't he, when he was in CC camp, because they notified Grandma and Mother that he had been killed?
No.
Just Grandma.
Where did I hear that?
I'm not sure, but he was a teenager, probably, I don't know, 16 or so. And he wanted money to buy a clarinet. And so that's why he joined the CCs.
Huh.
I don't know if he got a clarinet or not, but
he did learn to play it.
I know. He played the saxophone, the clarinet, the piano, the organ. Anyway, Barbara is very young, and she married while we were in Butte. So, and when she married, she went off to Chicago, and Grandmother went with her. So I'm thinking this is before she got married, and we were in Butte in about 1944. So I would think this might be in around 1942 or something like that.
Okay.
Because she's just so young and pretty, isn't she?
She really is. I've never seen her that young.
You mean you've never seen a photo of her that young?
I didn't see her that young either, or a photo.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go to the next photo. And so as I recall, we identified this photo and the next photo as being in Marcile's home in Sandy. It seems like we talked about this one before, but I don't have any of those notes on here. And
that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, that does look like Marcile's Sandy home.
So that was when I was 17. That's when we made that wonderful trip to Utah and to Idaho and saw all our relatives.
Okay.
So.
But what is Daddy playing? Is it just a piano? It looks like it has two keyboards.
It's a piano.
No, it's a piano. There's a book up there. It's a piano.
Oh, okay.
So given what you just said, Nancy, what year would that be then?
1964.
Oh, really? That early?
Yep. I was 15 years old. I was born in 49.
Hey, Siri, call Marcile Barney Davis.
Calling Marciale Barney Davis. Work.
What accent does your Siri have, Kamillia?
He's from Australia, but he's not very smart. Let me tell you, he's not very smart.
Who's the child laying down in the background behind Daddy?
Ooh.
Is that Jamie?
That would be too old for Jamie.
No.
Jamie, that might be Chad or...
Jamie wasn't, yeah, he was.
Yeah, Jamie's... I would have been 2 years old in 1964. Jamie would have been 3 years old in 1964. That's more likely Chad or Jay. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like, well, I can't tell.
Okay, so we're calling May. I just threw the month of May on there, but anyway, 1960.
It's July.
Yeah.
We were in Weiser for the 24th of July.
Okay. All right.
So Nancy, what was where did Marcile live during that period when we went out to visit people?
She lived in Sandy.
Okay, so it is Sandy.
Sandy.
All right.
Okay. And I think would this be the same thing?
Yep.
Yeah, Dad was having fun entertaining all the cousins and all the grandchildren.
Okay.
He did magic tricks. He hooped like an Indian. He played the piano. He sang songs.
When Marcile lived in Sandy, we lived in Provo.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to your house also.
Yeah, I remember that. Was that actually, that was when Loretta was 1 year old, right?
She was a baby.
Yeah, Loretta would have been born in December of '63. So she would have been.
Well, Robin was just months old then at that time.
Right. Yeah.
I don't remember much about visiting with you, Kamillia, but I do remember all the vitamins on your table.
I'm still known for that. But actually, Nancy, help me out with this. When you came to visit, it was 1965 because Robin was born in May of 1965. And you all stayed in a little house in Provo. Yeah. And Daddy did the hooey thing with the rope. I can't recall.
Yeah.
And I have photos of that. Okay. So if we're talking about the visit to Sandy and the visit to Provo at the same time, that was just when Robin was just months old and Rita was a year old.
Okay, so are we off a year?
Yeah, we're off. It was 65 because Robin was like 3 or 4 months old. And I remember she was in a little crib thing and we didn't get to hold her.
I don't remember keeping it from it, but.
Okay, I've got to scroll down and change the date on that because it's already relocated it to somewhere down here. Let's see.
So we may have started at the first part of July, but I just remember we were in Weiser for the 24th of July celebration.
Okay, I'm going to call that 1965. Okay. And 19. Okay.
And Jay, there's a really nice picture of you watching Daddy do the not the hui stick. What was the rope? Oh, Hoofeldust.
Yeah, that's Marcel.
Hoofeldust is Marcel?
No, I mean below Dad is Marcel.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But you have a picture of Dad doing tricks with Jay watching.
Yeah, we were in the front yard of the little house you were staying in. And Jay has a certain stance that I remember really well.
He had his arms up like he had really tough muscles and his legs. And
what do you mean? What do you mean like he had tough muscles?
There's a picture of him. I think I have it of him standing in the backyard on Rankin Road. And he's got his arms so that you can see his muscles and his ribs, and it's cute.
Oh, there's hundreds of pictures like that.
They may be mistaken for my boys.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Dad and Kenneth Chandler.
I didn't realize Kenneth was that big.
Wait a minute. Yeah, that is Kenneth.
It's the same year. It's in Weiser. It's in July.
Oh, really?
There were plenty of mosquitoes.
Kenneth was a big man.
Yeah.
So was Grandpa Chandler, and so were his brothers.
What do you mean by big? Like how tall or how broad or what?
He wasn't fat at all. He was just he was tall. I'm sure he was over 6 foot. I don't know. You know, I was a girl, but he was a big man. He had a really nice physique. There's a picture of him. I don't know if you've seen it yet, of him standing in a stream of water. He had shorts on. I don't think he had a shirt on. And he has that sort of stance, you know, legs apart, hands on hips. And you really see he was well built.
You want me to go to that photo of him standing in the stream?
Have you got it there?
It's somewhere. I could probably find it fairly easy.
It'd be nice if you could all see it and remember that's who it is.
All right, so I just
because you know I don't identify my children and grandchildren very well beyond mom and dad. I don't know these other men and women.
Okay, it's not showing up on here because.
Well, there's Kenneth on the right lower and also the 2 right lower.
Yeah, but the specific photo you're talking about, it probably, the Face ID didn't work on it. When the Face ID doesn't work, because some of the older photos it doesn't, then we have to just go by location. Or what if I type in the word river, just somebody standing in a river? I wonder if it'll pull it up.
That'd be interesting.
Oh, there's a bunch of boating things. Nope, didn't do that. Sometimes that works.
Add a date, add an approximate date along with the river.
I'd say about 1939.
Okay, so that's probably our best bet is to go by date. So I'm gonna go back over here, go to photos, and scroll down to, there's 1930 something, right there, bingo.
Where? Oh, there.
There you go.
Now, isn't that a handsome man? That darn towel is in the way.
But see, the Face ID isn't giving me the option to label anybody. So I wrote his name in there, But the face ID still doesn't, I don't know why, but it's not picking up his face.
He's got so much shadow.
Yeah. So
anyway, yeah. Annette, this is a man you would have enjoyed. He was the sweetest, sweetest uncle.
He was my favorite uncle. Of course, I didn't know many of them, but Uncle Kenneth was my favorite.
Yeah, Wallace was my.
That old. He was much older when I knew him.
Yes, yes.
Well, I thought he was older, but.
And he had red hair. Well, excuse me, auburn red hair.
Really?
And his son, my goodness, Larry, had quite red hair and a lot of freckles. And also his daughter, Elaine, she had red hair. It tended to be more toward auburn, all of them, but it was definitely red.
Cool.
Anyway, I'm glad to see that picture again.
There it is.
All of the kids had auburn curly hair except for Mom, right? And the two boys that died.
Even they had some curly hair.
Yeah.
I think curly they might have had. I see them as sort of blonde, but they're black and white photos. So
right. So you can't tell.
But Maxine had auburn hair and dark eyes.
Aunt Nita.
So
Nita and Kenneth. Now Wallace had blondish hair. And Mother, of course.
Well, so that helps contribute to my red hair, I'm sure.
There you go.
I'm sure.
It was in there. Okay, I'm going to go back to Dad and finish going through, see where we're at on his photos that just need to be organized. So this photo, I mean, it says Dad is in there, but I don't think he is. But I left it there just to see if anybody had any idea what in the world we're looking at.
Well, I think the lady sitting down, I think, is Marianne Holtz.
Okay.
And so my guess is, and I saw some pictures just the other day of her and her sisters and some other members of the family on Family Search. And I would have to, somebody just posted them and labeled them as her and her sisters.
Huh, these are her sisters? No, well not these.
I think that this might be her. I don't know if this is her sisters or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if the one on the right is a sister and the one on the left and the rest are children.
How tall they are. Look how tall the women are on the left.
Yeah.
Those are some tall women.
And if that's true, this would be in Utah, in
Millville,
or what's the town next to Millville?
Logan.
No,
I'm kidding.
It starts with a W. It seems like. Anyway, Marianne Holtz had a little house in Millville.
There's Hiram.
There's Hiram.
Where's
I
Hiram?
met a man that was, when I was going to school, that was in his 90s. He remembered her, and he remembered how she had the best homemade bread. And so after school, the kids could smell the bread, and they would go to her house and sit down, and she would tell them stories about crossing the plains, and they would listen at her feet. And he remembered she had those high boots, and he remembered lacing them and unlacing them, and she told her amazing stories, and then they got to have a piece of hot bread.
Wow. Well, I'm cool. Gonna, if I go to the face recognition thing, it has, well, first of all, we'll take Dad out of that picture because he's not there. But the Google Face ID thing has labeled that person front and center as Ada. Oh, darn. I did that wrong.
Ada Whitney?
Ada Henrietta, and then it's going ... I was hoping I could see
Whitney.
That may be right. But
yeah, because
like
I was going to mention, Nancy, didn't Marianne Holtz come from England by herself? So would she have had sisters here?
No, she didn't. She didn't come by herself. It was Fanny Wall who came by herself, and she had sisters living down in southern Utah, and then she came up and she married Samuel Alonzo Whitney, and it was Fanny Wall. Well, you know, I don't know that story that well. I know Fanny Wall came over by herself. Some of her family was already here, and she came over by herself. And so, this Ada, Henrietta Whitney.
So if this is Ada, I mean, do we need to go into family search and double check and see whether it's Ada or whether it's...
Ada would be Grandpa Chandler's mother.
Yes.
Okay.
And of course, who did we mention before just now? Marianne Hulse. Mm-hmm. I had always heard this story that she came over when she was 16 by herself. But, I have no idea where the story came from, but it's pretty solid in my mind as something I heard. These are big women. And I might say the Chandlers, as I knew them, which of course they were part Whitney, were big people. Mm-hmm. Grandpa and his sisters, as of course I knew them probably when they were in their 50s, 40s, and they were big women.
Well, so I'll go back and double check. I'll look in family search.
Look on this. That's that person in the middle on the right. Who is that person? And no, on the sidebar, you've got these pictures of people.
Oh,
who's
yeah.
Who's the middle one?
I don't know. There's no name. It's just faces that are in here, but it doesn't. I've never put a name on it. I haven't put names on any of these other faces, but the face ID has connected her to other photos I have of Ada Henrietta Whitney.
And you know what's interesting to me is the men who are in the picture don't look at all like, of course, they're quite young here, but they don't look like the Grandpa's brothers, nor do they look like Grandpa.
No, a lot of Grandpa's brothers look like Jaye, and anyway, some of that family look. When I see them, I think of Jaye and other people in our family. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would need to go and see what family, get a picture from family search.
I'll go back and double check this with other photos on family search and see if we can pinpoint it. So I'll go on to the next photo that's here though. And of course, this is Dad and Vera, their wedding. What year were they married? Was that 1986?
No, well, let's see. I got my master's in 87 and they were they married then?
87, 80 what? I don't remember wasn't it?
It was 85 when Mother died, right?
Yes, and Daddy married, it was probably 87. It was probably 86, 87. I don't know.
Okay. Let's ask Maureen. Yes. She'll probably know. Hey, Maureen? Maureen? I heard you gagging. I know you're out there. You know what year my dad married Vera? We went to the wedding.
Right. The same year.
Why is there a comb right here?
Are you sure that's
trying to remember when he used to have hair?
That must be 1985.
It's like a
He got married the same year she died.
No, he didn't.
No.
Not the same year.
No, they were married for 9 years.
Well, she'll look in her journal and then maybe we could just go on.
Okay, were they married in Palm Springs or where were they married?
Palm Springs.
They were married in Palm Springs.
Okay, let me call it Palm
I don't think anybody even told me Dad was getting married. I don't think I had a clue.
What you? She died in March. She got married in December.
Who did?
Berkeley.
You wrote that down?
No, I'm looking in this.
Mother died in March, and Daddy married the following December?
Mary Wiggins, December 13th, 1985.
There you go, December 13th, 1985 is when he married Vera.
I didn't think it was that soon after Mom's death. I was thinking it was a year later, but.
We'd like to think so.
Yeah.
December what?
December 13th.
Okay.
I remember going to that wedding. There was a big storm, and there were washouts on the highway, and it was messy driving.
I do actually remember that washouts on the highway and lots of rain. I do remember that.
It was pretty dangerous driving.
Okay, so here's Dad and Mom.
Look how pretty Mother
when and
was.
Where.
Boy, the nonverbals just really scream at you.
What are you thinking,
What are they
Jay?
screaming? What are they screaming, Jay?
Well, look at the distance and look at the faces.
Are you saying not happy?
I'm telling you that those are a couple of unhappy, stressed out people.
Well, they had just had their 7th child, Jay.
Well, I'm not being critical. I'm just making an observation.
I'm kidding. You were our 7th child, remember?
I know.
So,
I'm still stressing people out.
is this South Carolina?
That was my first thought, was South Carolina, but I don't really know.
I just can't get over how beautiful Mother is.
Can you close that door?
That she is.
Okay, so 1960, 1959, what are we guessing?
Well,
I turned 12 in 60, and we were in North Carolina, and we had been there. Well, Alden was born in North Carolina in 1960.
I started school in 1959, and we were on Sourwood Road.
I'm going to tell you that in when we were on Sourwood Road, I challenged Dad to a foot race.
And who won?
I was in 5th grade, and he wouldn't race me because he said, I'm 210 pounds. I've never been this fat. And I'm looking at that picture of him there, and he's not 210 pounds.
No, he's
nowhere near that fat.
Okay.
So I'm guessing this is South Carolina and not North Carolina. He got heavy in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Look, somebody who remembers, look at Mother's dress. Does that ring a bell?
Yes, I remember her wearing that.
So do you remember? You remember where?
Huh?
I think it's got to be South Carolina, and we moved to South Carolina when I was 7.
Yep.
And so that was 1956.
And I visited.
Because I was 3.
And I visited all of you with my 2 little children. Lived with you. Marcel and Becky did too. When you lived in Casey.
Right.
No.
And
on Suber Street.
On Suber?
On Suber Street.
Yeah.
Well,
I remember Lanny visiting us on Suber Street, but I don't remember Kamillia being there.
Yeah,
I lived with you. I lived with you in a red brick house, and there was a little house. There was a little house behind where a disposed of wife lived, of one of the Grahams.
Yep, that was.
Yeah, that was super.
I thought he was the meanest man in the world.
I thought he was horrible, but in any case, Mother was so young. I remember her so young at that time, even as I was there. And Nancy, it seems to me you were 8. You had a broken arm, I think.
Yes, I broke my arm, but I was actually 10 when I broke my arm. And
were you 10?
I had that picture taken on a fast Sunday, and I was about to faint, and Chad would not smile until somebody gave him $10 or $20 or something.
Oh, I just think it was a $1 bill.
Yeah, maybe $1. Boy, inflation.
And I think it was $1.
Well, I was in that picture, wasn't I? With my
You are.
You're in that picture, and that's on Suber Street.
And Chad was just really being so ornery. And yes, it was $1, and he has it under his leg. At least that's what I remember.
So I think this is South Carolina, and I'm guessing that it was some kind of a meeting with Rich Plan, maybe a Christmas meeting, and we moved in January, right after or right about my birthday.
Mm.
And so it would have been sometime that year.
So 1956 is what I put here. 1950, is that, should I keep it that, or 57, or what are you guys saying?
Well, I had Chris with me, and she was born in August of 57. And Marcel and I left in the, when Chris was just a baby.
But so, I think this was before you got there. I think this was, we lived on Suber Street. We lived out in Casey, and we lived right across from the chapel. I mean, we moved three times when we were in South Carolina. So I'm not sure when in that time period, but.
Well, you can't tell by looking at that picture.
No, you can't. And actually, that date is good.
Okay.
Whatever date. That was the time period that we were there.
Okay, I've gone to the next photo.
You have.
And this is somebody's funeral.
That's Linda.
We've got a whole bunch of people here.
Mom.
There's Mom in the front, and Linda, and Tom is over here. Afton's. There's Lanny.
There's Lanny.
And Aunt Linda. I saw Linda at the temple the other day. I was fussing about my veil, and this lady was standing next to me, and I asked her a question, and she said, "You know what? You remind me of my mother, of my sister-in-law." And I said, "Oh, where is she from?" She said, "Weezer. Her name is Mary." And then I looked at her tag, and it was Aunt Linda. It was sweet.
So, okay, Linda being Kenneth's daughter, right?
No, Linda being Uncle Lanny's wife.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
It's a small world.
Yeah.
Reminded you of her sister-in-law.
Mother.
That would be Mother.
Reminded her of mother.
So, but you were at the Boise Temple, right?
Yeah, I was at the Boise Temple.
Well, wow. starting from the right to left, there's Barbara, there's Mother, there's Lucille.
Okay, hang on. This is Barbara?
Yeah.
On the far right.
Okay, hang on. Let me see. Just a second. Let me see if the Face ID thing has got this. Now it says, okay, it's putting the woman right in the middle with the red sweater to Mom's right shoulder. That's Lucille. Is that right? See the box on her face?
Yeah, that's Lucille.
Yeah.
That's Lucille.
Okay, so hang on. So I've got to see if one of these faces down here. Okay, that face that has the box on it is Barbara.
Yeah. I don't see the box. Oh yes, that's Barbara.
That's Barbara.
Okay, hang on. I gotta label that then. Whoops. Come on, keyboard, work with me. Barbara Compton.
Lay down, Flash.
Okay.
Lay down, puppy.
So we've got Linda and Barbara and Mom. Okay.
Who's just behind Mother to her left?
This person right here?
Yeah, who is that?
I do not know.
She looks very familiar. She was too bad.
This is Utah, right? Looking at the mountains.
Yeah, that's Provo back, or is that?
Yeah, look at the mountains.
Is it Provo or is it
Ben Lomond?
Yeah, I think it's Pleasant View.
And why were I was going to say, why were they all there at Mother's funeral? But no, there's right here.
There's a tombstone right there. This is somebody's funeral. Is it Grandma Compton's? Where's Grandma Compton buried?
Grandma Compton is in the Arden cemetery.
Okay, could this be her funeral?
Could be her
could be.
Her funeral was in Weezer and she was buried in Ogden.
I don't know. I know it was.
Her funeral was in Weezer, or was it in California?
No, it was in Weezer.
It was in Weezer.
Okay.
I remember going to it.
You
In
did?
Weezer.
We didn't go to Grandma Compton's funeral. I lived in Las Vegas. And no, but I didn't go anywhere.
Well, maybe you didn't, but mother and daddy were there.
They probably were, but why was Jay there?
I wasn't. I lied.
So when Grandma Compton died, I was pregnant with Linnea. And
okay. Well,
she was born in 70 in March. And I wanted to go to the funeral, but the bank wouldn't let me have the. Or did I go to the funeral?
You're not in this photo, Nancy.
Oh, well, but this is at the gravesite. This is not the funeral. I think I went to her funeral. I didn't go to Aunt Lucille's husband's funeral. That's what it was.
Does anybody know who the guy in the very back middle with sunglasses is?
Looks like Lanny.
Uncle Lanny.
No, Lanny's right.
Lanny's
here.
Right there.
Oh,
he does have sunglasses on. There's another guy with sunglasses back here.
Don't know him.
Okay.
Well,
the guy on the far right is Bruce and Ken in front of him.
Right. So we've got those.
Where's Dad? Dad's not in that picture.
He must have taken the picture.
He must be taking. He's probably taking.
Yeah, he's probably taking the photo.
Some of these other people may be children of Lucille and Uncle Lanny.
Well, we see Tom, but I don't see Afton.
No, I don't see her either.
Interesting. Okay, so we're going to call this Grandma Compton's funeral. So
no, not her funeral.
Burial.
And
I am drawing a blank on her name.
Polly Sarepta Child Compton.
Sarepta, S-R-E-A or S-R-E-E?
S-E-R-E-P-T-A. Strangely enough, in the cemetery where Carmen is, I run across a couple of aces. And I think Sarepta, but I'm not going to swear to that.
It was more of a common name than I realized.
What did I just do? Okay. So location is the Ogden City Cemetery. And so the date was what, 1970?
Yep.
I can't recall the date. I was there. Or not here, actually, but in Weezer.
Graduated in 71 and it was Vegas, and she died when we were in Vegas, but I don't know if it was 70 or 71.
I think it was 70. They're wearing winter coats, so it was
well, Nancy, can you jump on Family Search just real quick, Nancy, and see what the date of her at least of her death was? So I'm pretty sure we're 1970. It's probably March or something like that. Could be March or April. Looking at the mountains, you got snow up in the mountains, but not down in the grass. So it's I'm guessing April. But of course,
I mean, they're not really, there's some people don't even have coats on.
Right.
And there's a baby sitting on the grass.
And kind of a warm suit. It must be one of Bruce's kids, and then Bruce has got one of his kids on his shoulders there.
That's Byron.
Yeah, that looks like Byron.
You know, also, if we're looking for signs of year, the grass is not green.
Yeah, not quite.
What baby does Marcille have?
Is she in this picture, Marcille?
Marcille's right there.
Where?
I'm putting
there. Okay.
Right in front of Ken.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's 1970, is it Mark? Mark or Aaron? I'm not sure.
No. Mark was born March 13th, 2 weeks before Linnea was born.
Okay. Did you find her?
Well,
Her death date?
I'm trying to sign in here. Just
okay, I'll race you. I'll go to my family search.
I'll race you. I'll go to the family group sheet I still have.
Okay.
What happened? I've got
showing us the family search.
Okay, you go ahead and do it, Arden. So in order to do it, I have to, how do I do it without losing you on my computer?
I guess I don't know what your computer's doing. But I'll sign in. This will just take a second.
These are interesting.
I'll go to tree. And
there we go.
Okay. So okay, we got the year right, 1970. She died the 10th of November, 1970. Mm-hmm. So we're off. So this is in the fall of the year, not the spring of the year.
Yeah, it's the fall.
Okay. All right.
This have been a week or two later or something. A few days.
Right. Okay. So
just as an aside, to let you know, Barbara and Karen said that the cemetery is full of Comptons because, just a minute, let me clear my throat. Because there's another Compton family. Some of you might have heard of, gosh, what's his name? He's a church, he has written a lot about Mormon history, and his name is Compton. And we thought at one time we must be related because there's such a similarity in our stories. His family came to Ogden from England, and they're musical and love languages, etc., etc. And he sent me his genealogy, but we couldn't find a connection. So there are his Comptons, and then there are ours, and we have quite a few because great-grandpa Compton's first wife came to Ogden, and so her children also are in it. So a lot of Comptons there. It'd be interesting to walk through it and just keep track somehow.
It's interesting that there aren't more Comptons that we run into. There's Compton Photography in Brigham City, and there's a Compton Bench in Farmington, but I don't run into Comptons.
Well,
Annette, would you please tell your grandson that the family history stuff that he did on Elizabeth Compton puts Elizabeth Compton marrying whoever it is he has her marrying before she was born.
I don't know what grandson we're talking about.
It's one of
Oh, is it Zachary?
Zachary. Mm-hmm.
Why don't you tell him?
Also, why doesn't someone get in touch with Karen? She's got all this information.
Where did he get the information anyway?
People are determined to give her a husband. And the only way they can give her a husband is if they can find a book with the history of the workhouses in England and find when she goes into the workhouse and what family she comes from. And I'm not sure how to get a hold of those books, but I've been told they exist. And
well, Nancy, get a hold of Karen because she has so many stories about Elizabeth Compton and her family.
That would be good to hear because it's almost a silent thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody telling us anything about her. Or why didn't Grandpa ever tell anybody who his dad was? Or did he know? Or I'm sure she had at least 3 illegitimate children while working in a workhouse. So that's not a good thing. That was a hard life.
Well,
terribly hard life, but I really, and I can't do it. But I just urge you really before she's gone or before she's too sick or too tired, she has so much information on paper, so much information in her head, and she's made a lifetime study of these things.
Right.
So she really is a resource that
we need to get that.
Somebody needs to take very seriously.
We maybe arrange a Zoom meeting with her. I wonder if she would do that.
I don't know, but I think if you were in her home, would probably be the best way. Because I know that she's fatigues easily and all of that. Probably would take 2 or 3 visits, but it's worth it. Please, please, please. Annette, you went with us once, didn't you?
I've only gone to only to Barbara and Karen's place when they were living together in West Valley.
Yeah, well, I
mean, I did Karen a long time ago, but let's see, Karen's about my age, isn't she?
I don't know how old she is, but you were with Marcille and me when we went.
Yeah, the one time we went to, and she gave me a CD, or mailed me a CD. I don't know where it is anymore, though.
Anyway,
I don't know where anything is in my life anymore.
You sound like Marcille right now. Anyway, she really is a tremendous resource, and somebody needs to get in touch with her and see how much you can get from her, how much time and energy she has. I beg you to do that.
I will. I asked her once and she said, well, so much of my information connects to my dad's side of the family and not just the Comptons. So she said it would be really confusing, but the program is completely different now. And so it should be easier for her to share.
Well, I think that, anyway.
Yeah.
Give it a try, please.
We'll do that. We'll do that. I know she had some pictures that I would have loved to have had copies of.
She gave me.
Uncle Lanny's young in here.
Everybody's young.
Yes.
Even Sourpuss me.
So I'm trying to figure out, maybe, hang on.
This is when grandmother died.
Okay, this looks like it's already documented. Maybe, oh, I'm in how did I get to Barbara Compton?
I don't know, but that picture came from the time that Grandma Compton died.
Okay, well, these photos are already all documented. I don't need to, I don't need to work on these. I was confused for a second. Somehow I jumped from Dad to Barbara, and these are already documented. So I'm gonna go back to Dad, to the ones that we don't have documented. And all of these, they're all labeled July 8th, 2011.
Well,
which we know just isn't quite right.
Not quite.
Jay, you sent, wait, just when I had Daddy's slides, I sent them to you.
Yes.
And you took care of the slides, right?
Yes.
These look like really faded slides to me.
Well, what I did with the slides, I had the videos converted digitally. I sent the slides to Terry.
Oh, okay.
And Terry processed the slides.
Right.
I thought he finished them. I didn't think he had any more, but maybe he does. I'm not completely sure about that.
I'm not either.
That batch of slides that we got, they're on here. This was added by Chad from some photo that he had, but this was not from the batch of slides. Although it does kind of look like it could be from a faded slide. That is true, but it's not from the batch of slides that we're talking about.
It could be a really faded photo.
It could be a faded photo.
It is.
So all we know is Dad's wearing a bumbleberry hat.
And there's some kind of plaque or award.
Yep. Rotary Club. So it must have been in California.
So I'm tempted to just label it Los Altos Hills. I'm guessing that we lived in Los Altos Hills at the time. Where the photo was taken, I don't know.
The Rotary Club.
Oh, that's right, the Rotary Club.
Is that what that Rotary thing in the back stands for?
Yeah, yeah.
Dad spoke at a lot of Rotary clubs, and
yeah,
they may have recognized him for that. I think the woman on his right is the woman who worked with him.
Okay.
On mostly on his speeches and presentations to the different civic organizations. It seems like her name was Pat something, but I can't remember for sure.
Did she help him like set up speaking appointments or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, well, we're going to call this Los Altos Hills 1973, Berkeley Compton receiving award from Rotary Club. And I'll check that. Hey, you're supposed to fix it. Why is it not fixing it? Okay, never mind. We'll go to the next one. I have no idea who these two girls are. Does anybody recognize these girls that Dad's dressed up like a hobo with?
Nope.
No.
It's like at a church.
Behind them.
What's that?
It's like a church curtain.
Yeah, that's what I was just noticing. It looks like a pair of Levi's. I've got a pair of Levi's with a hole in it right there.
I think all Levi's have that hole.
I don't remember Dad ever wearing Levi's.
I don't either.
Those girls have on bell-bottom pants.
Yeah.
That tells you a lot.
my gut tells me this isn't Pleasanton, but I don't know who we're looking at.
Bell-bottom pants were in style when you guys lived in Las Vegas. Because
I saw 71, 70s.
They were in style when we were in Pleasanton too. I remember, but we can go. What do you guys think? Las Vegas, Los Altos, or Pleasanton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think if it was Las Vegas, I might, or Loretta might know who the girls are, but I think we've seen this picture before. I don't have any idea.
I'm looking at his face. It looks, he doesn't look Las Vegas. He looks older than Las Vegas.
Well, I wore bell-bottom pants when I got married. Well, not when I got married, but in that particular time period of my life, I had a couple of pair of bell-bottom pants. So it could be 72, 3, 4, 5.
And also you had sideburns.
Okay. We'll call it 1975.
What year did you get married, Annette?
74. And I no longer wore bell-bottom pants.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Yeah, you weren't cool.
That's probably true.
Okay, so here's Dad speaking. This is a really old photo. This is not 1975.
No.
Any clues?
Is this award dinner or is this just adults?
I'll bet you that's something church oriented.
I was gonna say maybe it's a business thing. Just looking at, I guess it could be. I'm trying to see if there's young people mixed in the mix with the older people, and maybe there is some youth here.
You see that piano up there? You see that big high window and those curtains?
You're right.
I think that's a church.
You're right.
That's the rec hall, and Dad's doing some kind of a presentation.
Probably a memory thing.
Yeah, probably. I'll bet you.
Okay.
It's heavier there.
Not
East Coast, West Coast?
Oh, goodness.
I would say that it's, that room doesn't look familiar to me. But then I don't know that I would remember exactly what.
I was going to say Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay, Columbia it is.
So glad you're with us, Jay.
It was one of the older churches. And that looks, that kind of looks like that old church.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm just writing in here, maybe a church in Columbia.
Well, there's only one.
South Carolina. And that would have put this when 1959-ish, or I don't know, when were you guys in Columbia?
57.
6, 7.
6 or 7.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we'll call it December. It's a Christmas dinner, okay? Good enough. Now, I've questioned whether to keep this photo or not, because you can barely see Dad's forehead and some horses in the background. And pretty sure it's Dad, but
could it be
in front of the Galloway ditch in
I'll bet you.
Idaho, where he was baptized?
Yep.
Okay.
You know that?
I remember him showing it to us, and I have my own picture of him that's much better than that, standing in front of that ditch. And remember him telling the importance of that ditch was that was where he was baptized.
Okay, so we're gonna scroll down, and so I can put these photos together. Okay, I have this one labeled July 24th, 1964.
There's those two horses.
There's those horses. So we're gonna.
That's the Galloway ditch.
Okay, we will lump these pictures together. (1964). Now, you guys just decided that trip was actually 1965.
Yeah.
So I need to fix the other one. You guys are making me work too hard.
Yep. We're sorry, Artie. We feel so badly about it.
And I want to say thank you.
Yep. You'll get your reward at some point. I just can't say exactly when.
I need to know when, Jay.
I'm sorry. It's my secret.
Okay. 1965. And all that talk, I still didn't label that one 19. I thought I changed it. Okay. I'll have to go back. There's other photos I know that were discussed as having been on that trip, but anyway. Okay. Let's just jump to this one.
That's a young, wow.
What a handsome man. Oh my goodness.
Is that in Toppenish, Kamillia?
Could have been. I remember one of my girlfriends, or a friend at church, a little girl, I guess I was probably 11 or 12. She said to me, "Your dad is so handsome." And I remember thinking, he is?
So I thought he was young enough to be in Weezer here, but you're saying that was beyond Weezer?
You know, he's so young here. He could have been, I can't think of why he'd have this picture, except in Toppenish when he was doing, selling insurance for beneficial life, maybe.
That's what that's what I'm thinking, that it was for beneficial life, but I don't know.
Okay.
Well, you know, mother was 27 when Daddy was in the service. So Daddy would have been 3 years older. And as soon as he got out of the service, we moved to Anaconda. So that would have been, he would have been in his 30s here.
Okay.
And mother would have been 3 years younger, in her 30s. So that's a pretty young age, 30.
Yeah, it is.
And it looks like it's been.
We all say that now.
Pardon?
We all say 30 is young now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think 60 is really young.
70 is still young.
70 is quite young. Yeah. 80 is not bad.
Well, I was 29, almost 30 when I got married. I look at the photos of me in my, the first couple of years of my marriage, and I was very young. Could have sworn I was still in my 20s, but anyway, so I'm labeling this Toppenish, Washington. So this would have been what year then? 47 or something?
Anywhere, probably, well, he went into beneficial just before we left Toppenish. So anywhere between 1947 and 49, perhaps, or 1950.
Dad, Jay was born in 49, right, Jay? And I was born in 48.
Yep.
Okay.
And we lived in Toppenish.
We'll call it 48.
It looks like a hand-tinted picture.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Does anybody know who Dad's with by this airplane?
By the airplane. You know, Daddy did take flying lessons.
So that's not one of his business partners or anything that anybody would recognize.
That face looks familiar, but I can't remember. And I'm thinking it might be a fantastic time of life.
He is, but I can't remember. He's the guy, Jim
Dyer.
That's Jim Dyer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I met Jim Dyer when he came to visit Daddy in Palm Springs. Much, much older than this, of course. He sure had a head of hair, but not much anyway, when I met him. Well, how about the narrow tide? Does that tell you something?
What?
No.
Yeah, narrow ties were popular then. I remember the boys making fun of, what was his name? A guy in our ward, and he had wide ties. And that was so funny.
So should we call this like 1964, 65? What do you guys think?
I think this was probably after they sold Fantastic and they both had money. And I wouldn't be surprised if Jim Dyer bought an airplane, because he also bought a sailboat, one of the largest sailboats, one of the largest fiberglass sailboats in the world at the time. So my guess would be that this was probably shortly after they sold Fantastic.
So 67, 68, or what? When was that?
68, 69, because we moved to Las Vegas. We moved to Las Vegas in 69. So it would have been just before that.
It was while I was in Australia. So it was probably 69, 70.
Then Jim Dyer lost all his money and lost his boat and everything.
Yep.
How come?
Because he was crooked. He got caught in a swindle.
He did something wrong. I don't remember.
It was a real estate deal that he set up that was illegal.
Well, you know what?
That's too bad.
I have a story to tell you. Daddy and I went to Ben's wedding, and and President Wilkerson was there. I won't tell you the story about him. I didn't like him at all because of the way he treated our dad. And anyway, Daddy and I were sitting out on the patio eating something, and he said to me about a man who was sitting across the patio that man owed him $20,000. And I think it was one of those fantastic people.
Could have been Jim.
Could have been, I don't know. But it made me angry. I was already angry.
Why are we looking at this leg?
It's Kamillia's leg.
Well,
is that my leg? I'm sorry.
That's your leg. It's not mine.
I've been taking screenshots.
I'm sorry.
When Dad would show slides,
it is my leg.
I thought it was your leg talking for a minute there.
Yeah.
When he would show slides, he would often say, well, this person owes me 20,000. This person owes me 10,000, and I'll never see it. And it would just make me unhappy with people that took advantage of him.
I was really, and it makes me unhappy just to think about it. So anyway, Daddy, and I'll tell you another quick story. Daddy was always quick to lend money in Toppenish. He was bishop, and there was a man who borrowed, I don't know how much money, but we were really poor in Toppenish. But he borrowed some money from Daddy, and we were in a pinch, and Daddy went to that person's house and asked if he would pay him back. And he said, I didn't loan you any money. You didn't loan me any money. And that was that was among those things that you would think Daddy would have caught on, but he seemed to have a fair amount of faith in people.
Yeah, he did.
He did. And you know, the fact that people didn't pay him back money, he never let that get him down. I talked to him about it one time, and he said, you can't cry over spilt milk.
Yeah.
Got to go on with life.
True story. Okay, well, I'm going to do one more photo, and then I got to go because I just need to get going. And it's always good to do this, but it always takes longer to get through these photos than I think. I thought, we'll get through dads and then we'll go to moms, but nope, we're not through dads.
That's because Kamillia keeps wanting to tell you stories.
Which is wonderful. And that's what that's one thing I love about this is the stories that these pictures bring out. But do we know who's with mom and dad here? Or not mom, who's with dad here?
Is that Lucille?
Well, the Google Face ID says it's Lucille, but I don't know. Is it?
I don't think so.
You don't?
Just a minute.
This is
Marcia's house
in Sandy, and this is that 1965 trip.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
If it's not Lucille, it's not Mother's sister. It just about has to be Lucille. And
why does it have to be Why does it have to be Lucille? It doesn't look like Lucille.
Doesn't look like Lucille to me, but I don't know what Lucille always looks like.
Well, it looks like she looks like she's related to Daddy. But it doesn't look like Barbara, right?
No, that smile is not Lucille's and it's not Barbara's.
Well, it must be family.
Yeah, they have to be related to us.
Have to be.
Is it Maxine?
No.
And I don't know who the man is either. He doesn't look related.
Well,
he's not related to us.
He's married.
No, it's the woman. It's the woman who's related.
Right. And I think it has to be Lucille and her husband.
Why doesn't she just come back and tell us?
I don't know. I got to know Lucille Fair. I mean, you know, a little bit when we got married in Provo. She even made a little quilt for Tamra. They would go there every once in a while, but that's not the Lucille I remember.
She's quite a bit younger.
Well, this wouldn't have been, yeah, I guess if I was only 12 at this trip, then that would have been.
Well, I'm not going to swear by it, but Lucille, when she was young, didn't look like that. And when she was older, this is a very plump face. The smile is just not hers.
Okay. Well, we'll leave it with a question mark. I put in here, not sure if it is Lucille, maybe it is. I think we're just at an impasse here.
What was her husband's name?
Don Adams.
Lucille?
No. Lowell. I'm sorry. Lowell Anderson.
Adams.
Well, at what point? He had already committed suicide at this point.
No.
He committed suicide on one of our trips because we stayed a night at Lucille's house. And it was, anyway, I remember he wasn't there and the story of the suicide. So maybe if it wasn't 12, maybe when we went back when I was 14 or something.
I think it must have been because he was alive when we were there in 75.
You don't mean 75.
You mean 65? I don't think you
do mean.
In 65. And all those handsome boys with dark hair and blue eyes.
Where?
His name was Lowell Anderson, is that right?
Yeah.
Lowell Anderson, yes.
If that's him.
Right.
And I really can't say.
Okay.
If you go to Aunt Lucille's site on Family Search, hopefully somebody's put some family pictures there and maybe you can resolve that.
So we would have to go to the children of these people. And okay, well, I'll go back and
there she is.
There's Lucille. Memories. I could probably add to some of these.
Look what a pretty girl she was. Look with her hat. Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh, that girl, the lady in the blue dress looks a bit like the lady in the picture.
She does.
That's Lucille. Yeah.
Yep. That does look like her.
Yeah. And that's her husband.
Where's her husband?
Well, in that other picture. There's
okay. Is there? Okay, there's no photo of him in here.
She was still going to Boise to school to finish her degree when we went out there in '65.
Is this a family photo here? Just a minute. The one that's here, is this Lucille, Lowell, and kids, or who is this?
This is Lanny. Go ahead.
We're looking at Lanny, Dad, Barbara, and Lucille.
Yeah, and that's
okay. I just couldn't get it large enough to see.
That's
Mom's funeral.
Yeah, that's our mom's funeral. Oh, Nancy, you put this on there. Is that right? Or it says Nancy Wilson.
Yeah, I guess I did. I put it on Dad's site, and as soon as you put the names on it, then it puts it on everybody's page.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that is, I'm going to come back to here, and I'm just going to leave it as Lucille. Not a maybe anymore.
His last name is Anderson, not Adams. Lowell Anderson.
Yes.
And
Ian or Owen?
I don't know.
I think I've always pictured it Ian, but I don't know. But you can find it on Family Search.
Okay, is that it, Artie?
Yeah, let's call it a night. This has been good, and I really enjoy hearing the stories and the memories and all that comes with this. And we'll just have to do it again every once in a while to get through these. And sorry, I don't know how to do it without help from you guys.
And you're so great to do this, really and truly wonderful.
Why you have older siblings?
And
take them by the hand.
And why we have our youngest brother being.
All right, thanks, Artie.
Okay, all right, everybody have a good night. We will talk to you sometime soon.
All righty.
Bye-bye.
Okay, love you.
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.